Fake it till you make it. It's probably one of the most overused pieces of career advice, but does it work? Or is it as ridiculous as going to Canal Street to buy a fake Chanel bag and try to pass it off as the real thing? Let's talk about faking it until you make it, why it's so problematic, and what to do instead. And if any of this is particularly interesting, the timestamps will be below. To begin with, let's make sure that we're all talking about the same thing. What is fake it till you make it? According to Wikipedia, fake it till you make it suggests that by imitating confidence, competence, and an optimistic mindset, a person can realize those qualities in their real life and achieve the results they seek. Essentially, it means that you should pretend to be someone or to have something in order to achieve a desired outcome. This advice is broadly used. Could you even count how many times you've been told to fake it until you make it? Feeling insecure heading into a job interview? Fake it till you make it. Over your head with work? Fake it till you make it. Negotiating your salary and doubting your number? Well, you get the point. The trouble is, this advice is incredibly problematic, and you might want to get a coffee and settle in for this part, because we're going to talk about everything wrong with faking it to make it. The first issue with faking it to make it is that it doesn't actually close a skills gap. For example, would you want the person who is about to do surgery on you to be actually trained and capable, or do you want them to be faking it? Now, I will acknowledge that in the skills gap, sometimes there is a confidence gap, and we are going to circle back to talk about that, especially in terms of faking it till you make it. But I think often this advice overlooks that there are real skill gaps and real knowledge gaps, and that pretending that you know how to do something isn't going to stage you for success. Is it helpful when Slacker Chad pretends that he knows how to lead a project, has no idea what he's doing, and then you end up having to do all the work so the project doesn't fall apart? Well, this is what happens with fake it till you make it, because when people are pretending to have skills, knowledge, and competence that they don't have, other people are going to pick up the slack in the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, you end up falling on your face, looking completely incompetent, and suffering the second consequence of faking it until you make it, and that's losing trust. If you present yourself as having certain competencies, or even having certain values, or being a particular type of leader, the ability to maintain that facade over time is going to crumble. If you aren't who you say you are, if you can't deliver on the things that you said that you can do, and you aren't capable of achieving the things that you've promised, people are going to find out. And while I do think that there is a lot of understanding in companies when someone has found themselves in a little bit over their head, there is going to be a long-term impact to the trust that you have, both trust from your boss and trust from your coworkers. Unfortunately, one of the most common ways that people fake it till they make it is actually lying on their resume and in the hiring process, which I could do a whole other video about. This isn't to say that people are grossly lying and entirely fabricating experience that they don't have. It could just be exaggerating or amplifying your role in something that you took part of, but to say that you played a bigger role. Even if that misrepresentation is something really small, maybe it's something completely benign and unrelated, as soon as it is exposed, and in my opinion, it's always going to come out at some point, the people that you faked it to are going to feel like you lied to them. And in this case, trust becomes a zero-sum game. When you lose some of their trust in this situation, you're going to lose all of their trust. If that's in a new job, it can impact how long you stay in that new job. If it's about a stretch assignment that you got, you're probably not going to get another stretch assignment again. In my opinion, trust is one of the crucial ingredients to career advancement, career growth, and career success. Other people need to be able to trust you, and their ability to trust you is going to be potentially impacted if you are faking it in order to make it. And this actually brings me to the next point, because maybe they never find out. Maybe you successfully fake it and you make it. The problem is, you know that you faked it. This will impact your self-identity, your self-concept, and your self-confidence. For starters, it's creating a really malproductive condition of worth. In order for you to be good enough, you need to be pretending. In order for you to be successful, you need to fake it. In order to have the career that you want, you need to be a fraud. And yes, that salty language is intentional. Being fake doesn't feel good. Like, think of a time that you were faking it, or you put on a show, or you put on a facade, whether it was to impress someone in a job interview or out on a date. At the end of the day, it probably didn't make you feel very good about yourself. And I feel like this is becoming something that's really cliche and something really inauthentic, but authenticity really matters. Being who you are is so important. And especially in cases where you're trying to be someone else, it's creating incongruence, and our brains really do not like incongruence, especially when it comes to our self-identity. Then we have all sorts of things kicking in, like cognitive dissonance, that are going to help us close the gap and deepen and deepen and deepen the problem. In cases where all of this faking it becomes a problem that compounds itself, which brings me to the next problem with fake it until you make it. When you fake it and make it, the successes that you have will be proof of fraudulence versus proof of competence. Even when you have all of the capabilities, you have all of the skills, and you are completely deserving of that opportunity, achievement, promotion, job, whatever you were faking it to get, because you were telling yourself and your brain has internalized the story of you were faking it, all your success is going to validate is that you need to pretend to be worthy in order to be worthy. It's not going to show you that you were worthy in the first place. And this brings me to something that is an opinion of mine, and I haven't gone through the academic research to see if it's backed up in the data, but this is my personal observation. This ends up creating a lot of imposter syndrome. It is no accident that the same people that are telling you to fake it in order to make it are the ones that later on are talking about how to deal with your raging case of imposter syndrome. Of course, this isn't the only cause of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is actually created by gaining more knowledge and competence. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. However, when you have constantly been faking it in job interviews, in presentations, in one-on-ones, in all of the things that you do in order to make it, you've constructed a reality where you feel like everything is fake. You've told yourself that everything that you have accomplished has been based on things that are fake. So when you get that promotion, you get to the corner office, you're going to feel like an imposter. You're not going to feel like you are worthy of sitting in that seat, of having that opportunity, or of relishing in the praise that you get for the things that you can do. And the work to untangle this is not something that I would recommend to anyone. It's creating problems for yourself on the way up when it comes to your career growth, and it's creating more problems for you when you reach that level. It's for those reasons that fake it till you make it is not a sustainable and scalable career success solution. It is at best a band-aid solution because it does have its time and space. Of course, we're not living in a world where things are black and white. There's a lot of gray space, and I do want to acknowledge that fake it till you make it can play certain roles at certain moments in your career. Now, I just mentioned to you the Dunning-Kruger effect a few minutes ago, and if you need a reminder of what that is, it's when you get a little bit of knowledge about something, you feel a high level of confidence. However, as you learn more, your competence, your knowledge base expands, your confidence level goes down because now you know enough to know what you don't know. You know enough to know what your limitations are. You know enough to know where you need help, where you don't have everything on your own. But eventually, as your knowledge and competence increase, your confidence is going to start to upswing as well. So when you are in that imposter zone on the Dunning-Kruger curve, fake it till you make it can be helpful in filling that confidence gap when there's not an actual skill gap that lies beneath. Where this gets complicated is that you're not going to fake it till you make it when you have high confidence in your skills and your abilities. You're going to fake it till you make it when you feel like you're freaking the F out because you have no idea what you're doing. And discerning if that's a confidence-based concern or a real concern rooted in your actual skills and abilities is something that's really hard to do. The other time that fake it till you make it can come in handy is when you do need an instant confidence boost or when you need a mood booster. For example, facial feedback is a thing. If you are in a bad mood and you put on fake smile, you start smiling, you actually start to feel happier. I experienced this firsthand all the time back in my retail days in university. Heck, even sometimes when I sit down to film a video. Similarly, things like using confident body language and power posing delivers a lot of signals to our brain that our brain now interprets us as feeling more confident even if we're not. So it is a brain hack. It's not going to cause sustainable confidence. It's not actually changing your abilities or anything like that. But these are things that can be very helpful in these specific situations. Which brings us to the real question that you have now. What do you do instead of faking it until you make it? And how can you discern those moments where you need to fake it till you make it? Because you have the capabilities, skills, and knowledge, you need the little confidence booster, versus where you're generating risk of falling on your face and trashing your professional reputation, or just creating a big case of imposter syndrome for yourself. First, I think that this comes down to figuring out if it's face it or fake it. When you are walking into a job interview for a job that you really want, or you have a big presentation to your executive team that's going to elevate your visibility at work and can create career advancing opportunities for you, it's natural to be nervous. It's even natural to doubt yourself. Negativity bias is a thing. In those moments, you need to figure out if you're truly ill-prepared and in over your head. Having the courage to walk into those situations does require confidence. And in my opinion, I don't often see people being given opportunities that they're not deserving of. So in the example of the job interview, if this is your dream job and you feel like you're perfect, but you're just really worried that they won't see it, or maybe you'll mess it up, that's gonna be more of a face it situation. Versus your nerves are based in you not knowing how to answer the questions because you don't actually know how to do the things that the job needs you to do, even though you kind of said you did on your resume. That's a situation where you have been faking it, and now your feelings are because you've been faking it. In the situations where you look at the circumstances and you're like, you know what, I think that this is really a face it to make it situation, fact checking yourself can be really, really helpful. I just mentioned negativity bias, and it is something that is going to be playing in your brain, especially in these crucial career moments where you really need to step up and face it in order to make it. It's important to remember in these situations that just because we have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Going back to our example about the job interview, if you're worried that they're not going to see how great you would be in that role and how much potential you have, fact check your belief. Look at everything on your resume that reflects exactly what they're looking for. Write down examples from your work experience that demonstrate why you are the perfect dream candidate that they should be rushing a job offer to. You can repeat this process as many times as you need to. And this brings me to the most important step to stop feeling like you have to fake it to make it. Cultivate confidence. Don't get me wrong, self-doubt happens to everyone, even the most confident of us. Trust me on that one. But the more that you increase your self-awareness, your self-trust, and your self-belief, the less instances you're going to experience where you don't feel like you have the right skill set, or that you're not capable, or that you need to be someone who you're not. And in those situations where you don't have the skills or you're not the right person, having a high level of career confidence is gonna make you not feel bad about that, and can even stop the urge to try to fake it in order to make something work that isn't supposed to work. Of course, there are a ton of benefits to career confidence, going above and beyond not needing to fake it till you make it because you know you're a badass professional who deserves that opportunity. Confidence is going to help you in all of your crucial career moments, from job interviews, presentations, performance reviews, salary negotiations, talking about pay raises, or stepping up to succeed at the next level. Plus, you know, one of my favorite mantras, confidence is contagious. And the more confident you are in yourself, the more confident everyone else will be as well. If this is something that you know that you can grow on, make sure you're on my Career Bestie Insider list. Because career confidence is not rocket science and isn't going to take months and years to build when you know how to do it correctly. That said, sometimes we do just need those instant confidence boosters. Like in those situations where fake it to make it actually makes a little bit of sense. Go and watch this video right now for instant confidence boosters so you don't feel like you have to fake it because you know you're going to make it.